Join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I thank everybody for being here this morning, both in person and online. First item on our agenda would be minutes from the previous meeting.
I move to approve.
There's a motion and a second to approve the minutes as submitted. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Special meeting as well.
Special meeting as well. Minutes, want to do two separate motions?
Nope, we can make it.
All in one?
Yep.
Okay. All right, bills. We have some additionals on our desk, I see.
Move to approve.
We have a motion to pay the bills. We have a second.
Second.
Motion and a second to pay the bills. Roll call, please.
Otis,
Aye.
Gessner,
Aye.
Volk,
Aye.
Wilhelmie,
Aye.
All right. Financial reports. Anything stand out to anybody? Anything you want to point out, Candy?
no, I all looked. All looked pretty good.
I'll move to approve.
We have a motion to approve the financials as submitted
Second.
and seconded. Roll call, please.
Gessner,
Aye.
Otis,
Aye.
Wilhelmie,
Aye.
Volk,
Aye.
All right. Financial or treasurer's checks. The 3 million that we transferred, was that from Western?
It was at Western, and Kate from Bremer Bank called me, and he made a deal of putting it into money market and giving us about 4.5%. We could have the 3 million back. I was only getting 2% in the Western State money market, so I moved it,
Deal.
yes. And it's in a money market, so it's available. Because I told them we had to have that available because I didn't know.
When you put it in the money market,
Yeah.
there's no penalty.
Exactly.
Any questions on the treasurer's checks?
Move to approve. Second.
We have a motion and a second for the treasurer's checks. Roll call, please.
Wilhelmie,
Aye.
Gessner.
Aye.
Volk,
Aye.
Otis,
Aye.
Aye. Any additions or corrections to the agenda for today? Everybody has the revised agenda.
I will move to approve.
All right. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. First item on the agenda is Lisa.
Okay, so today we have a CD coming due in Rivera Bank. And of course, that is the one that is our COVID money. And I just want to know, do we want to reinvest or do we want to put it in a money market? And I also have another one coming up in July 24th, so we have 2 million on both of them coming up. But I'm more worried about the COVID one, if we want to do a CD again, or we do wanna do a money market. What are we gonna pay out? Are we,
So what was the difference between the money market and the CD as far as interest?
well, since I did this CD, this was at 4.26. Since then,
Right.
it's went up some.
And you just said the money market was at.
Money market at Bremer, he gave me 4.5. And I haven't checked anything yet, maybe money market, I don't know if it's gonna be better than a CD, cause this was a few months ago. This was 3 months ago.
Right, the only thing is we put it in the money market and the money's available.
Exactly, and that's totally okay, cause I don't know what you're gonna spend out on COVID.
I mean, if we need the money available, we're almost.
Or we
We
could
can put it in,
split it,
Do half and half.
we could split it,
Oh,
we could
two
do
and
a million money market, million CD, depending on the interest rate, what they're gonna give.
So when they're putting it in the CDs, there's no penalties anyway to take it out right now, is there? They haven't been penalizing?
We haven't had to take anything out. These have been running for 3 months.
Yeah, I think the 6 month and less, there hasn't been any penalties because the market's been changing so much.
But I think if you break a CD, you have to pay the penalty. I'm not sure, I mean,
We're probably better off splitting it then, just to be safe.
doing a million and a million.
Well, how much? I know people submitted bills.
Yep.
And there was like 200,000 that we kept out or whatever that
Right.
number was.
Right.
Is that close to being?
No, but the park board, contacted and asked when they would get theirs. That was like 250,000. And then the truck took that. It's 50, so we're at like 300,000.
And we only have about 200 and something left in the
I think that'd be a good move is to split
half
it.
and half.
Cause you know that million for Fairport, that's what I think.
Closer to fall.
If that depends on all the grants are going.
Do we do another 3 months with the CD
Sure,
or?
Or even if we take 500,000 and put it into money market and 1.5 into CD.
we
When
can
you
do that.
put it in the money market,
What's that?
once you put it in the money market, does that interest fluctuate?
You know what, it's been pretty healthy, depending on what bank. You know, I will call around again, see what they wanna do, but it's available, if the money market, it's available,
Well,
but
if the
it's,
interest isn't fluctuating a lot, I mean.
no, not a whole
it's-
lot,
it's
no,
probably worth
it's
having-
pretty,
Having that available, you know, I mean,
right,
even if it's 0.5% or something, just when it fluctuates, that's really,
right.
when you're talking about having it available, that's, you need more of that.
So you wanna do,
I'll make a motion that we put $1 million of the COVID money, put $1 million into a money market, leave $1 million in
okay,
a CD.
half and half,
And
I
the other
mean,
CD, at your discretion, I guess, is what I would.
where I get the best interest rate, yep, and I will bid it out this morning.
That motion clear as mud.
I'll second.
Motion and a second to go ahead and divide the COVID money between a CD and a money market account. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Reorganization and annexation board appointment.
Yeah, we're gonna, right now I'm waiting for Attorney General to get back to us. We had 80 acres sitting in Benson County. Moving, it was a tuition waiver, but it was moving from Warwick School to Double Lake School, 80 acres. And we needed to have a Ramsey County Committee meeting on that. Benson had theirs. I mean, no school board shows up, no, but DPI wants to like stop it. And I'm like, it's 80 acres, it's 100 feet to pick this kid up. I mean, we've gotta have some give and go here. We don't have a board filled for this reorganization, so we need to get somebody on board because I think we're also probably gonna have Edmore School let me know in October what their plans are, so we need to fill this board. So I have, Jeff said he would sit on it, thank you. Christy Trottier was on and she said she'd fill. Scott Bravatsky, I have contacted him and he said yes. Candy's on, Beth Buckmeyer is on, and then I'm always on. So I just need an okay to fill the board. And I know people like don't really wanna sit on all of this stuff, but we need to fill it.
You need this filled so you can move ahead with what this
We
one.
do, because if that comes back to me where the Attorney General won't go through with this, because July 1st is cut off, and they won't go through with it because we didn't have a meeting with Ramsey County. Yeah, we might have to do it a full year again. I don't know, I just think that, and the 80 acres is coming to about $210 difference.
But DPI is Dakota Prairie.
No, DPI is our Dakota, our education instruction
Department of Public
from Bismarck.
Instruction.
And they're against it.
They won't let it go through because Ramsey County, we didn't have a regional committee meeting.
Oh, gotcha.
Like they're
Check all
wanting,
the boxes.
yep, they're wanting to stop it and so we're waiting to hear again. Lucia, I'm working with Lucia over in Benson County because she's a superintendent of schools. And to see, she contacted the attorney again. Nobody shows up for him. I mean,
Yeah, no, I get it. I mean, you still got it.
yeah, we have to go through. So anyway, I just need to have you guys okay that this is an okay board and we can go forward.
Move to approve claims.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to go ahead and accept the appointments to the Ramsey County Reorganization and Annexation Board. Any further discussion?
Is that on the south side of the lake?
I believe so. It's, I've been dealing with Karen Anderson. Is this? Yeah, and it's a grandchild of hers that needs.
Yeah.
So, but they got a tuition waiver. I don't know why we can't pick this little youngster up, but it's not like it's going how many miles, we're just going,
With a tuition waiver, I think they'll be fine.
I hope so. If not, this is gonna hold up for another year because July 1 is their cutoff in Bismarck. Unless,
You're on the school board, start with a tuition waiver, you guys pick them up, right? Usually, like Devil's Lake comes up.
Well, yeah, but I mean, where we run into issues now is, I think, is it last year or this year? You don't get the funding for the busing for out of district kids. So
I'm trying, I try.
bigger deal for a smaller school than probably Devil's Lake, but
Yeah, but Devil's Lake's not gonna. If they have a policy of not picking up kids.
that aren't in the district.
That aren't in the district, they're not gonna.
Right.
I mean, if they go 100 feet or 10 feet, it doesn't matter.
Yep.
They're gonna open up the can and look after
Yep.
themselves.
I suppose, yeah,
Issues.
yeah. So that may be, I don't know, depending on what the Attorney General will, like Lucia said to me, she invited Warwick School Board, she invited Devils Lake School Board, and nobody showed up. Like,
But they might be, are they going to Devil's Lake now?
yes, they are.
They might be grandfathered in now.
Yeah, but they're not picking them up.
They're not picking them up. and it's just a few feet, but. So anyway, we're gonna have to work on it or see if the Attorney General, if they'll okay it, or
Mhm.
if they don't, we have to have our meeting.
Okay,
Thank you.
did we vote on that? Approved, no. So all in favor of the reorganization of the Ramsey County reorganization and annexation board, yeah, there we go. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Anything else on that?
No, no, and then, you know, I'll know more by October where Edmer stands. And then we'll go forward from there.
This list that was passed out on board appointments.
Yep.
Needs to be updated, right?
Yep.
Because I know we replaced the Heritage Center, Dakota Community, or Dakota Prairie Community Action Agency. Those have all been changed and updated.
Yeah.
This is an old deal.
Yeah.
Same way with like the perimeter road committee, library board, it should be updated.
Yeah, we have an updated
Yeah.
list.
We have an updated list somewhere.
Yeah.
So, okay. Anything else, Lisa?
Nope,
No?
that's it.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Really.
You too.
Mr. Fieldson,
Morning.
how are you?
Good. We did get our 2 rental tractors, I think I mentioned that before, but now the invoice, we need to pay for the rental to the John Deere company for a total of $12,000. So I'm looking for a motion to pay that invoice.
Motion to pay?
Second.
All right, we have a motion to go ahead and pay that. You need a roll call for that?
Yes.
All right.
Volk,
Aye.
Gessner,
Aye.
Otis.
Aye.
Wilhelmie.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
And also, Morris Seal Coat did get our chip seal project finished, so we got the invoice from them. They chip sealed Ramsey County 8B, Ramsey County 4D, Ramsey County 7B. And the total of the invoice is $485,466.50. So I'm asking for a motion to pay that invoice also.
Is that within their bid specs or?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a little bit low, but yeah.
Anybody want to make that motion to pay that?
Second.
And then motion, then second, they go ahead and pay Morris Seal Coat for the chip seal projects as listed. Roll call, please.
Otis.
Aye.
Wilhelmie.
Aye.
Volk.
Aye.
Gessner.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
That's really all I have, unless you have anything for me.
I think per our last discussion or our last meeting, Kevin, I think the water board is gonna work with maybe their engineer and get some of that stuff up in Fancher Township engineered on that Texas crossing that would have additional problems, and have them take a look at that and come back with a recommendation to the commission
Okay.
once they find out on what should be done.
In reality, that's probably not gonna be next year's project, but
Yeah. So, any progress can be made on those replacements, those culverts, and
we'll be starting next week, we got 3 bridges removed this summer, and maybe 4 other locations, that we're putting culverts in, so we'll be starting that Monday. Then,
all right. got a letter from Mr. Mike Connor about the appreciation for the work that your crew has done on the Sons of Jacob cemetery up there. We really appreciate that, and we appreciate you and your staff for taking care of that, and going above and beyond what Mike's letter indicated, so thank you.
Yes. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes our rural cemeteries, you go in other areas of the country and they don't look so good, but ours look really nice, so we appreciate everybody that puts that effort into them. So, thank you. Anything else for Kevin? Everything's going as,
It is, we finally caught up to our schedule, so we normally start bridges this time of year, so we're on schedule.
okay. Thank you. Did we take the water board off? Did they not?
She did not know how many were actually going to show up.
Well, their chairman's over there, so you wanna see if Brian has a minute to come on over and
Sure.
they can give us an update on what their discussions were this morning on that stuff up in Fancher Township and some of those other areas that we had discussed with Nelson County on that area over by Ramsey 6, on that Dykoff Slough area west of there. I think what they're looking at is maybe asking to see if those culverts are actually open. Yeah. Morning, Brian.
Morning. It's a quiet meeting for you guys today.
Yeah.
So it's been getting a little more exciting over in our country. Once the culverts for the county start going out, that usually adds a few phone calls. I don't know what a good way to help solve some of this would be. Maybe if you drop a dummy culvert out sooner so we get discussion going, or put a sign up by the bridge that it's going to be worked on, but nobody cares until they see a culvert show up.
Yeah.
So I did work with our commissioners, as they called, trying to get some questions answered for one of our bridge projects that you guys are handling up by Edmore. That's your,
Furniture?
yeah. You were gone, I believe, that day that one started. But to get the conversation started on them, that was where I had the idea, do we need to put a sign up there that nobody reads, or until the day you put a culvert down, that's when all the questions come in, and now it's really too late to change a lot of stuff when that happens. So I don't know.
Gotta go by all the hydraulic studies, if we don't, we're in trouble, so.
I think that one, they discussed the placement a little bit at your meeting, was that right? Whether they should be in angles or straights and that. That was a comment I've heard, is they thought maybe that was one where they should have been angled a little bit when they're put in. But I don't know, that changes the length of the culverts, and when the culverts are already there. The discussions a little bit in the past already. So, I don't,
When you do the hydraulic study, they basically set what your standard is.
Yep.
the flow standards, yeah.
Yep, CFS, yeah.
There is quite a few spots where, for putting them in, that they were put in straight, and you can tell that it was a diagonal channel back in the day before we had roads. And it causes some issue where, the water comes out and then it hits a straight 90-degree angle and needs to, the flow isn't right. Whereas, that adds a little bit of complexity to putting the culverts in. It adds length to the culverts, which turns into real money pretty quick when you're dealing with big culverts.
It's more of an issue on the inlet side than the outlet side. I think that swirl on the inlet side. Outlet doesn't matter, as long as you get the right size culverts in there, you're not increasing the flow to wash that bank out. The flow stays about the same, so you're not forcing more into that bank. Theoretically.
Shouldn't, biggest thing it'll cause is, eventually it washes out where it's hitting the bank and, rip around and all that, so it's all something you can deal with. If questions come up and you try to work with the guys a little bit, so it sounds like everybody's getting heard and their concerns. We did, decide we're going to have our engineer that worked on the Ramsey County 10, the Edmore Cooling project. That's dealing with, started with those culverts there that you're replacing the bridge with. And it goes into an overflow area that the water board's been involved with for a couple decades now. So we're going to task our engineer that worked on that project to come up with what he feels would be a solution for our overflow spot where bridges have to drive across to get into their field. So we'll wait to see what he says. And then we'll get back with a recommendation for you guys that hopefully we can come up with something. I don't think that's worked well ever since it was put in. I don't know, was that before your time too?
No, we were always gonna put the original one in. That was back in the day when they were using straight trucks, and then semis came along and.
Right. Do you remember who put in the culverts on the overflow? Was that county that did that, or was that water board, or?
The water board told us what sizes they wanted in there, and then a few years later, they asked us to add some more on each end, so we did that.
And now, a few of them are silted in fairly heavy, it looks like, from what people say, so.
I haven't seen them for years, they're always underwater, so.
Right. But, no,
That's why did the county do it? Isn't that a township section there?
It is, but it's a bridge, it was originally a bridge.
Oh, where this Texas crossing was.
The original
Okay,
bridge.
right, now it makes.
so it's kind of the start of where the problem is that, it leads to all these conversations about the Edmore. It's from there on to the south for a couple miles, it's flat and cattails. So that's what we're trying to fix, and it's a good time to have that conversation while we're working on this, that everything can be done all at once, hopefully, and that try to get the same plan in place instead of piecemealing it together.
Wonder if that would be a worthwhile project to take a look at, is that road and bridge inventory, that was done, 25 years ago or 20 years ago, and see how up to date that is and what changes need to be made and those kind of things. I think that was a Bureau of Reclamation project and USGS along with some other, State Water Commission and some others that contributed to that, but they did the entire basin. But when these replacements get done, I'm not sure if that gets updated at all. And that'd be maybe something that we could go in and maybe in the winter time and when we have some off time and take a look at and see what's been done over the last 10 years or 5 years and make sure that there was, especially on that Edmore section where you guys are looking at maybe doing some maintenance projects along there. And just taking a look at that and seeing.
We have a book that has updated, but
Okay.
that one is outdated.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of changes in that section, especially through those 10 miles or so, up like that.
I bet there's been 50 bridges taken out on those books.
Yeah. So,
So when you do the hydraulic study, you had mentioned last meeting about the water flow since we have the flood has changed, and we have to take that into consideration, how does that work?
I would hope that they would. Well, they say that we've been in the wet cycle for 30 years. When a lot of those roads were designed and built and they were designed for the old hydraulic study. And when you do a new one, you do it to that point of that watershed coming into it. And so you're not taking, that hydraulic study doesn't take into consideration what's downstream from it.
Right, so
historical rainfall is included in the study. So if we went from 10 inches of rain in the season to now we're looking at 20 inches of rain. As your year moves down, you start including those higher rainfall years. So that's where the culverts start getting upsized because the rainfall is more.
Right, so technically, like on this bridge, the water that would have flown through that bridge is actually more with the culverts now to some degree.
I'd say it's pretty close to the same.
So it really, I mean, so part of that really isn't affecting, it's not changing it dramatically if it does change, I guess is what I'm asking. So
The one downstream, I believe that was just slightly bigger also, the one on County 4 that you're going.
That's a lot bigger because it's a federal aid road, yeah.
yeah,
But being
the rules are
upsized from
different
what
for
it
that
is
road,
now.
right? It's so many more years of flood.
County road versus a township road.
that-
Why? Because of federal aid road.
They don't, the theory is it's supposed to go over the road every 10 years, or it's supposed to go over the road every 25 years. It's the idea of saving the road.
It makes it a little hard, especially when people see the culverts come in. One we worked in was west of Gursky. And I think we did that, and it came as 336s. It was being upsized quite a bit from what it was, and then everybody looks at the next township road down the way, and it's, one little culvert in it. And anybody can tell you that there's obviously gonna be a problem someday from that, but that's the way the century code is written, so.
Yeah, it's for so many years of flood, right?
Yep, exactly.
50-year event or 100-year event and as you go up through the system, federal highways are actually more years of
Yep.
flood, so.
States more.
Yeah.
Federal more, yeah.
But other than that, that's our big discussion we've been having today, so we'll get the engineering back with that, and hopefully a recommendation, or at least some conversation to have further on it. We have not had any more updates on our County 10 project, still waiting for the engineer to finish up with that. He's had to do some more surveying on the top end for some issues that arose up there. And yeah, other than that,
See, I'm an engineer working on one for Ryan.
Lorenz, yep. We were going to discuss that one next. That came back as right around $6,000 for a stream crossing for that. So we were going to decide how to handle that. And as far as the county is concerned, you want an engineer stamped stream crossing, not just a recommendation, so we're gonna look into what the best way for us to handle that is to get you what you need. Whether, like KLJ was the bid that we got, and that included physically going out and doing some surveying on each side of it. Well, not at that expense, we need to probably get a couple bids just to make sure we're handling it properly. So we tell you the correct things.
Great. Anything else?
I think that should cover most of what we've been working with right now, so.
Do you have an estimated time of a vote on that Ramsey 10 project?
We don't right now
During
until
time?
he gets engineering back. Kind of what it's been said in the past is once the engineering is completed, everything should be said and done within a couple months at that point, After that, it just gets into scheduling. You just gotta schedule an informational meeting and the actual vote. Get it tallied up, so we're hopeful we can get something done yet, late summer or fall, but we're starting to run into that deadline already, so.
Sure. Okay. Anything else for Brian? Brian, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you guys.
Unfinished business, so we have standing committees of the North Dakota County Commission Association. And this was the resolutions committee and the audit committee, correct?
That means nominated.
Nominating. And this is for those that are wanting to attend the North Dakota Association of Counties Convention in October. I think the registration just opened up yesterday.
Ken, you know what the dates are? I read it yesterday.
8th through the 10th.
What was that?
8th through the 10th.
And if you let me know if you're going, then put your name on the room.
Right now, I just went.
Okay.
We'll let you know after they're changing in units, so I gotta make sure of that.
Cool, yep.
I will let you know by Monday.
And this needs to be sent in and submitted by
July 19th.
That was a lot of good information last year, I thought.
Yeah, it looked very educational.
Alan, I think.
Kevin, are you all the way through the,
I am off the NACO Association now.
Okay.
So I could be a delegate, but I'm not gonna step on anybody's toes here.
well, this is for the county commission, so
Oh,
it'll have to be one of us. So they kind of have two different associations. They have the County Commission Association and then the Association of Counties.
I did it last year, it wasn't terrible, I think we went to one meeting, the biggest thing is when they were in session, there was a lot of internet stuff to, a lot of meetings they would do once a week, but other than that, it wasn't bad.
So this is a non-session here, so.
Yeah, it would, basically one meeting or two maybe.
I think the big thing for that legislative one would fall under that resolutions committee, having the resolutions that the commission association would like to adopt for the following year. And probably work it into a legislative session type of committee is how those resolutions generally work.
Yeah, 'cause the big one this year, I think, was Curve was
mhm,
the biggest fight.
yeah.
It was kind of, I mean, they put their 2 cents and it was kind of out of their hands. You know, it was a pretty heavy discussion on that.
Well, right now, I don't think I can go, so.
I know last year when I went to the convention, it was sure an eye opener. It was my first time. The topics that they were discussing. A lot of good speakers, a lot of good information. That's just my thoughts.
So we do have a meeting on the 18th, county commission meeting. If we wanted to decide then, we could, but it's putting it at the last minute. If anybody wants to take a deeper look into what those committees are all about and whether or not you'd have time to do it, that would, at this point, I'm not ready to commit to it, so if anybody else is interested, speak now. If not, we'll move on. Anybody? Going once, going twice? Okay. We'll move on to, new business. Approved site authorization. And that is for, Lake Region Community College Foundation. An event, I think, this Saturday, or is it Friday, tomorrow?
Second.
Motion and a second to go ahead and approve the site authorization. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Approved homestead credit abatement. We have one of those in our packets.
Move to approve.
We have a motion to approve the homestead credit abatement. Second. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Highway 2 solicitation of comments. So, the fear of asking them not to go ahead with the RCI turns or the J turns is they're just planning a what is it, an overlay? Mill and overlay on the west and eastbound lanes of Highway 2.
I heard they're doing a frontage road.
It says overlay of frontage roads and designated lighting. They must be putting in lighting to it.
Yeah.
And the overlay of the frontage roads. But what I've read, or what I'm reading, I guess, it says scope consists of mill and overlay of US 2 overlay of hefty rest area parking lot, overlay of frontage road and destination. And they talked about that lighting on some of
Those intersections.
yeah, and I wanna say it was on Ty's side, that they
Yeah.
were really not lit up enough.
Ackerman Acres.
And there was no argument of that they needed more lighting.
Right. The concerns that I have is that they're taking the safety considerations that they put into the engineering on the RCI, the J-turn stuff. They took that kind of off the table, and they're not doing any engineering to enhance or improve that. You know, it was kind of, this is what we thought was gonna be best. We disagreed with it as commission and township and residents out in that area. And,
I think they wanted, the residents wanted more of longer turning lanes.
longer turning lanes, wider, turning lanes, different things like that. And you go out and you're taking a left-hand turn off US Highway 2, there's not a lot of turn lanes on that, and so it becomes quite dangerous if somebody's not paying attention to what you're doing.
Yeah, and I see what you're saying, Jeff, is they totally got rid of the J turn,
Yeah.
and they don't have anything in here extending the
Right.
turning lanes, which I thought that we
Yeah.
had kind of agreed that, and they kind of agreed that at least the turning lanes would have to be extended.
Yeah,
And maybe the lighting will help through that.
yeah,
I mean, the way it reads now, they're not extending anything.
you know,
I mean, I don't know if there's something in that section 102, quotations 2, quotation 3, whatever that is. You know, I don't know if it's more information in that.
so it's the same consultant engineer that, did the RCIs.
Have you talked to this Chris Maples at all?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, after he sent this letter out, I mean,
Oh, not this one, no.
I know you talked to him before.
Through the other, process of the other projects. Yeah,
So this is somebody they hired to do this?
Yeah. Consultant project manager. Civil Science is the company.
So what you're thinking is we call them and ask if they're gonna, if it's more than just an overlay or?
Well, I think the comment needs to go, yeah, we're in favor of the mill and overlay project and the destination lighting, but we'd also like to see some enhancements on safety concerns, which would include longer turning lanes or additional turning lanes to that effect.
So what do we do, write a letter for that or?
Now, seeking comments until July 30th.
I'd be in favor of that.
And we can reemphasize, you know, similar what we did when Minnewacan Township came in and asked for, you know, they had that letter and they asked for our support and we went ahead and did that, you know.
Anytime you can extend a turning lane is gonna
Or,
be safe.
I mean,
And I think the biggest reason was the turning lane is to the left of the ties out there. There's being a lot more semi-traffic,
No.
you know, and that, but I know for sure that left turning lane,
Well,
you can't put more than one semi. One semi, no cars, that would be it. You're stopping on the main road.
well,
Yeah,
Dakota Drive being there, there's no train.
No,
Right.
none.
yeah,
Coming off the eastbound.
And there's been 2 accidents because of that.
Right.
One was that.
yeah.
I
So,
mean, it's like me speaking out of turn or a redneck way of looking at it, it seems to me that didn't get his way, so. you
Right.
threw it down.
A lot of it is.
So you need a motion?
to go ahead and make the comments, yeah,
Yes, you need, the safety concerns are still there, just because you didn't get your way doesn't mean there's not another way of doing it, so.
Okay.
um,
we'll have
You
a,
probably don't want me to read the letter.
I think we definitely need to put in there that the turn lanes need to be wide.
Yeah, extended,
Yeah.
or
Evaluate.
add it,
I mean, could it be something that we even say we would like the turning lanes?
you know, well, maybe that's something that, as chairman, myself and I can work with Kevin on some of the verbiage that should be included and work with Bo that it's, you know, it doesn't get us in any kind of bind and
We're suggesting, it's not like.
Right. bring it back to, the meeting on the 18th and we can all sign off on it.
If they wouldn't want comments, they wouldn't say it to.
Right. No,
If we don't say anything, this is what they're getting.
right,
Yeah.
exactly, and that's not acceptable.
yeah,
I mean, they went from one extreme
to another,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
we want at least the middle of the road.
right,
Don't act like you're in high school, then go back to high school.
yeah.
You should have been at the meeting, it was interesting.
I probably shouldn't.
So, okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Further discussion on comments for the Highway 2 road project east of town. Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, Sheriff Wayne, you must have had a busy morning.
Yes. It's been a busy fourth.
Busy for it.
No thanks.
So we'll move back up to, Sheriff Lang and his updates and reports and.
One thing, I just entered into a MOU with the North Dakota Bureau of Criminal Investigation. One of my sergeants, Sam Shively, is going to be joining their ICAC task force, which is Internet Crimes Against Children. It ain't gonna affect any of his duties that he's doing now. It's just gonna be, he's gonna get a lot more training in the investigations into internet crimes. So you'll work with their task force, they'll send them the trainings, a lot of these trainings that they provide are free. And I've been through it and it's very good, and it'll help us tremendously when we give reports to somebody thinks they found something. You know, we scramble to send it to somebody else, we can kind of manage on our own. The only other thing I got is we are losing one deputy, he's going back to schools, we had opened up the position. We're anticipating the whole job interviews in the next couple days. We got 2 applicants that are really good applicants, so that's what we narrowed it down to. So we'll interview them and hopefully get the position filled, get them up and running before the other guy leaves. So when the other guy leaves, he just takes right over. The only other thing that I reached out for new tasers, a bit on new tasers. Because the tasers we got are old, they're no longer serviceable, and they're only about 50% effective. So they came out with the Taser 7, as which we priced for the 12 of them. And that would outfit everyone that's on the road, plus the task force, and give us one extra in case something happened and went down. It comes with a service agreement, 5-year service agreement, and they send us 48 cartridges for the tasers every year, so we can, when we recertify, you can shoot 2, then you carry 2, and that'll give us some extra if they have to deploy them during service. So just for the 12 of them, it comes to $33,849.60. But with this company, we could break it down and do a yearly payment of $6,769.92 over 5 years, and which would give us a savings of $4,777.30 or 60. So my idea was to bring it to you, see your thoughts, and try to work this into my budget on the yearly expense instead of the one lump sum. We'll save a little bit of money, and then once we get them all up, then we can start a rotation at the end of 5 years. The 2 worst ones we cycle out, and we can just do it that way, instead of trying to eat a bunch of them all at one time again. And these also come with the holsters.
When we did a 5-year thing, then you always have so many new ones. You know, like if you extend it out 5 years, or is it, you get all 5 and now you're just making, or you get all 12 and you're just making payment?
Yeah, we get all 12, and we can make the yearly payment for 5 years. And at the end, getting towards the end of the 5 years, maybe if we need to replace 2, we would replace them to start a cycle. So you always got fresh ones in there instead of waiting for the
Right
old one.
now, the problem is that these are no longer serviceable.
Right.
Ones you have, so you can't start a cycle anyway. Sheriff Nelson had let us know that too, that we were getting out of.
What is the lifespan of a,
Depends on the usage. Most of them will get, you can probably get 7 years out of them. If they watch their power, charge them appropriately. The biggest thing is the batteries on them.
yeah,
And in this price, it comes with the software, so we can download.
So you wanna put this in your budget for this coming year, or how are you?
Yeah, it'll be in this coming budget.
So you don't need any action today, you just want to.
No, I just wanna make you aware, when you see it in there, you're gonna wonder why, and it's,
So are you looking to do the budget over 5 years then? Is that what you're planning, or is that your plan, or?
yeah, the budget for this 5 years out, yes.
Guess it's no different than the rest. You gotta have it in that. I would just recommend that
like you just said, once we get to 12, do it in a rotation so it's not such a bite.
Absolutely.
Don't feel the pain as bad, I guess.
So they would do all 5 or all 12 on a 5-year contract.
Yes,
So you wouldn't have to have a big lump sum.
right.
Hmm.
You could pay it in one big lump sum,
Yeah.
or they'll let you do a yearly payment. And by doing the yearly payment, like I said, you save a little over $4,700 doing it that way.
So if it's cheaper to do it over a 5-year plan than it is a
Yeah.
one?
I didn't have time.
Odd.
Yeah.
Well, I think,
Yeah.
I didn't have time to make copies, we can pass it around, get to look at it. It shows right there, your total savings.
oh, yeah. And they might do it because now they got it in 5 years.
Right, and they know that you're gonna need the cycle.
Right.
They're hoping to keep you as a customer, right? And that,
They don't want 5 years.
yeah. So I mean, I see where they're probably coming from. They can keep you as a customer.
Yeah. Why not?
Most of the time, it's cheaper if you pay it up.
Right.
Everything's payments nowadays. Great.
Well, and you're finding a lot of the stuff is going to this where it's basically you're leasing them, right? But the nice thing is they come with all the holsters and everything, and you don't have to buy them extra.
Would you like a go ahead or you wanna, just something that heads up?
I'm just giving you a heads up, so when you see it in the budget that's coming up,
Sure.
I'll have some explanations with my budget. but-
Yeah.
Cause there's some other areas we need to look at too, but.
Okay. All right. Anything else for us?
No, that's all I have right now.
Okay. You're all fully staffed and will be, or?
Yeah, we got one in the academy right now, he's just about halfway through the academy, doing very well, so once he gets back, we should have, everybody on the road, should be full.
Okay. Wonderful, wonderful. Anything else from the commission for Sheriff Lang? Sheriff, thanks so much for coming in.
No problem, thank you.
Visitors and delegations. It's,
Late crowd.
yeah, it's a light crowd. All right, portfolios. Start with Commissioner Gessner.
Just got some meetings coming up, just had a fundraiser for the fair board. Fire department's been asked to write a letter of recommendation, support, or whatever it is, for a grant they're applying for. State grant for destination / something else, I don't know where it's grant that will match the funds that you have committed as of 1st of July, so, looking at a 1.5 million grant, possibly. A lot of paperwork to do with that one, they gotta prove that it's gonna be a regional or statewide or benefit, I think. Feelings of the board was, we didn't fall into that, so that's what we're working on there. Obviously, we got a sheriff's deputy to find under that portfolio. Nothing else really, just meetings going up for the rest of it, so.
No, nothing for me. I think Lisa was here, kind
Okay,
of took care of everything she had going on, so.
all right, Commissioner Otis.
Mountain Lakes met a couple weeks ago up in Rolla, and
along with staffing, the other thing that got changed is we're gonna add 2 legislative people to the board. One will be from up in the, Rollo country, and Dennis Johnson agreed on down here. Otherwise, nobody's met since our last.
I guess. Public health, we hired a new administrator, Mr. Heisler. He was gonna put in his 2 weeks and then start with Ashley. Got a meeting coming up on 17th July. Forward Devils Lake was canceled as far as their meeting. Lake Access had a meeting there, everything's going well. The pond is all open, they just wanted to work on the parking lot a little bit, and spread out some of that. And they had a few items they're gonna do there, otherwise that was good. Kevin took care of basically that, and then I was gonna meet with Roger to see how it's coming as far as the keys with the closets and stuff. See how that was going. Other than that, that's all I got.
So you found a replacement for Ashley up in public health?
Yeah.
Good.
So hopefully, I'll find more out on the 17th, as far as him starting and doing piggyback hopefully for a couple months.
And what's that individual's name?
Chrysler, I can't remember his first name.
Denton.
That, there we go.
Okay.
Does he come from what kind of background?
Yep.
What kind of background?
He has, public health, most of his is from running, nursing homes.
No.
And then he came back to the area here and he's been doing sales. He's been trying to get in, he had applied last time too,
Okay.
but, and the question was, he had jumped from job to job, but it was because he was moving and trying to get back to Devils Lake. Every time he moved, it was a step closer.
Sure.
Super good interview and we'll go with all. Best thing is Ashley's willing to stick around for 60 to 90 days, get him on board. You don't get that option very often, to have a piggyback.
Anything else, Blaine?
I have nothing else.
All right. Well, budgets coming up. So we kind of had a special meeting a while back. We gave our employees, our department heads, a direction of where we wanted our budgets to go. Everybody, departments are having their budgets due by the 10th. Was that the deadline?
Yeah.
So,
They were just timing, people going,
you know,
vacation,
So next meeting will be most of that,
probably gonna have to have
some of it.
besides the regular one on this 18th, we'll have to have another one following that before the first meeting in August.
some of them we couldn't finish. Review, but
Coming in hot.
Coming in hot. So,
it was a little low.
we'll probably start the 18th meeting an hour and a half early.
Yeah,
Start that at 4. In order to get some of those budget presentations in.
and what I'll do is, I put together a binder with all the information. It's just a lot. I mean, I thought about putting it on, for the laptops, but it's just, then that way you can write notes, you can,
You love to scroll through.
right,
I like the paper.
And then you just have to remember to bring it to every meeting.
Yeah, because you're not gonna decide it won't be.
No,
No way, too much.
yeah. It's too much, it's too big, it's, yeah. And
It's a lot.
one of the things that we will have the opportunity to do, once we see those, is bring them down. We can approve it high, for our preliminary, and then we can whittle our way down until we get to, end of September, October. And, before we have a final budget presented. From what we approve as a preliminary, we can't go up from that, but we can come down. So, just keep that in mind as the budgets come in. Some of them may look a little outrageous. Hopefully we can, come in and that's one of the things that from our last LEC meeting, we decided we wanted to probably have a special meeting with the LEC to bring that budget in a little lower. I think all the entities thought it was a little high, the preliminary budget. So I'm gonna work with Star next couple days and probably plan a special meeting prior to the 18th, so she can finalize the budget. The LEC, I think, meets the 19th, regular meeting, which reminds me, I'm not gonna be here the 19th, so we have to make some,
We should change that, because I'm not gonna be here either. Yeah.
you're not gonna be here either on the 19th? Okay.
You got time.
So, we may have to have, and those of you that are on those political subdivision boards, committees, that's one thing to keep in mind is that you may have, additional meetings within this month, early part of August, in order to get those done and finalized, so we can have everything done here as well, so. And with that, I don't know if I have anything else. I don't think I have any other announcements. Do we? No? All right. Meeting adjourned. Thank you all for coming.